A warm welcome to all gathered here. Once again, on behalf of Panimalar Institute of Technology, AICT Pre-Rana GATE training program for EC and EEE students in the subject Signals and System, I welcome you all for today's lecture on Laplace transform. So we will be dealing with Laplace transform today. And previous class we discussed about various aspects of signals, systems and classifications of signals and systems. We have seen what is Fourier series, how Fourier series is applied to the periodic signals. Then we moved on to Fourier transform, and today we will discuss about Laplace transform. So Laplace transform, it is another important mathematical tool in study of signals and system. The Laplace transform can be viewed as a generalized form of a Fourier transform. Due to its more general nature, the Laplace transform has number of advantages over the Fourier transforms. First, the Laplace transform representation exists from some functions that do not have Fourier representations. Second, since the Laplace transform is more general tool, it can provide additional insights beyond the facilitated by the Fourier transform. So this is the reason why we do go for Laplace transform. And the motivation behind Laplace transform. Earlier we saw that complex exponentials are eigenfunctions of linear time invariant systems. In particular, for LTI system with the impulse response h of t, we have that e power st transformation is given by h of s into e power st, where h of s is integral minus infinity to plus infinity h of t e power minus st dt. And we referred h of s as a system function. As it turns out, h of s is also Laplace transform of h of t. Since the Laplace transform has already appeared earlier in the context of linear time invariant system, it is very clearly useful tool. So we will discuss how Laplace transform is going to use. And now let me introduce you with the formula for bilateral Laplace transform. We do have two cases. One is bilateral Laplace transform and another is unilateral Laplace transform. The bilateral Laplace transform function x of t is denoted by Laplace. L stands for Laplace, L of x of t, or x of s, which is given by x of s is equal to Laplace of x of t, which is minus infinity to plus infinity, x of t e to the power minus st dt, e to the power minus st dt. So this is the formula for that. Whereas inverse Laplace transform can be computed using the formula x of t is equal to L inverse of x of s, which is equal to 1 by 2 pi j integral sigma minus j infinity to sigma plus j infinity x of s e to the power st ds, where sigma is the real part of s. We have already said that it is a contour integration since s is complex. Here we refer x of t and x of s as a Laplace transform pair. X of s is the Laplace transform of x of t. X of t is the inverse Laplace transform of x of s. So x of t is L of x of s. It is Laplace. The two different versions of Laplace transforms, which is bilateral and unilateral. Bilateral in the sense it is going to be two-sided, minus infinity to plus infinity, whereas unilateral is one-sided. We do cover with respect to 0 to infinity. Unilateral is most commonly used in terms of solving linear differential equation with 0 initial conditions. So this is where we mostly use for the unilateral Laplace transform. Since it only the difference between here is the lower limit of integration, where for unilateral, as I said earlier, it is going to start from 0 to infinity, whereas for bilateral, it is going to be from minus infinity to plus infinity. So relationship between Laplace and Fourier transform. X of s and xf of omega denotes Laplace and Fourier transform of x of t, where x of s is the Laplace transform of x of t and xf of omega is the Fourier transform of x of t. The function x of s is evaluated at s is equal to j omega, where omega is the real xf of omega, that it is given by x of s at s is equal to j omega will give us xf of omega. So hereafter what we can do is we can call this as x of j omega Fourier transform can be rewritten as x of j omega. So the direct relationship between Laplace transform and Fourier transform is given by just replace s with j omega with the case of Laplace transform. The function x of s is evaluated at an arbitrary complex s is equal to sigma plus j omega, where my sigma is the real part of s and omega is the imaginary part of s. And in terms of Fourier transform, we can combine and write it as x of s is s at s is equal to sigma plus j omega equal to x dash of f of omega, where x dash of f of omega is the Fourier transform of e power minus sigma t x of t. In general, how we can call Laplace transform of x of t is Fourier transform of an exponential weighted version of x of t. So this is the exponential version of x of t. So due to the weighting, the Laplace transform of signal may exist when Fourier transform of the signal even does not exist. And the major important fact here is we do include a terminology called as region of convergence, where the few cases Fourier transform does not exist can also be made existence by using the Laplace transform. So area under which the Laplace transform is going to converge, we do call it as a region of convergence. And first let us see what is left of the plane. The set of all complex number s satisfying real part of s less than a for some real constant a is to be left of the plane. Some examples of the left half of the plane, say they have assumed when a is going to be less than 0, you have got the real part of s and imaginary part of s. The strip that is parallel to the j omega axis, we do have call it as the region of convergence, and this is going to be the area where it is going to converge. And similarly for a greater than 0, we will have a value of a at the positive axis, and this is our region, left of plane. Similarly, we will see how the right of plane is going to be, where here the real part of s will be greater than a. So if a is less than 0, I will have it in the left hand side, where my region is going to be in the right half of the s plane. Similarly for the a greater than 0, I will have it in the positive axis, my region is concerned over here. And next, intersection of sets. So what happens when we do have intersections of A and B, two regions of getting intersection? Say example, my region 1 is from less than, my real part of s less than 1, and region 2 is real part of s greater than -1. So now we have to check where the intersection is occurring. Here the intersection is going to occur between -1 to +1. So my region of convergence, here it is going to be in between -1 to +1. So this to be noted. As we saw earlier, for a signal x of t, the complete specification of its Laplace transform x of s requires not only an algebraic expression for x of s, but also the ROC associated with x of s. Since say for Fourier transform 1 del of t, we will get 1. For u of t, we get 1 by j omega. We are not bothered about the ROC there. Whereas for Laplace transform, we are more concerned about region of convergence associated with the transformation. So two very different signals can even have the same algebraic expressions, but with different ROC. So this is a point to be noted, and we may expect some gate questions around this as well. So same signals, two different signals can have same algebraic expressions with same ROC, different ROCs. So this to be noted as a point of discussion. Now let me give you the properties of ROC. The region of convergence of Laplace transform consists of a strip parallel to the imaginary axis in the complex plane. So this is the first property. The second property, if my Laplace transform x of s is a rational function, ROC does not contain any poles, and the ROC is bounded by the poles or extended to infinity. If the signal x of t is a finite duration and its Laplace transform is x of s converges for the value of s, then x of s converges for all value of s, Therefore, ROC will be the entire complex plane. ROC will be entire complex plane. Fourth property, if signal x of t is right-sided sequence, the signal is going to be right-sided sequence, and the line real part of s is equal to sigma naught is in the ROC of Laplace transform of x of s, then all the values of x for which real part of s greater than sigma naught must also be in the region of convergence. So when we have a right-sided sequence, it will ROC will be right off of the rightmost plane, right off of the rightmost plane. Similarly, for the left-sided sequence, it will be left off of the leftmost plane. So when we do have a two-sided sequence, it is going to be with respect to the intersection. So coming back here, if a signal x of t is a two-sided and a vertical line real part of s is equal to sigma naught is in the ROC of Laplace transform x of s, then the ROC will consist of strip in complex plane that will include the line real part of s is equal to sigma naught. If the Laplace transform of x of s is rational, then for right-sided sequence, it is right of the rightmost pole, left-sided sequence, left half of the leftmost pole. So this is similar to that, and some of the preceding properties are redundant. Since every function can be classified as one of the finite durations, left-sided, right-sided or two-sided, we can infer from the properties number 3, 4, 5, 6, the ROC can only be of the form either in terms of LHP or RHP or a vertical strip or entire complex plane or an empty set. So thus ROC must be a connected region. So very important point to be noted here. ROC must be a connected region. Next, properties of Laplace transform. We do have several properties. The first property is linearity property. Second, time domain shifting, Laplace domain shifting, frequency shifting, conjugation, time domain convolution, time domain differentiation, Laplace domain differentiation, time domain integration, initial value theorem and final value theorem. I have given you with the time domain and what will be in case of Laplace domain and what will be the region of convergence. Here in case, say let me take with the linearity property, my signal is ax1 of t plus a2 x2 of t. The Laplace domain will be a1 x1 of s plus a2 x2 of s. Similarly, for time shifting x of t minus t naught, it is going to be e power minus s t naught into x of s. Similarly, for all the things we will discuss in the upcoming slides. And next is few Laplace transform pairs. We do call this as Laplace transform pairs. Inverse is also possible and transformation is also possible. So first del of t, the transformation is 1 and the region of convergence is all s plane. U of t, unit step, Laplace transform is 1 by s, real part of s greater than 0. Minus u of minus t, 1 by s, real part of s less than 0. T power n u of t, n factorial divided by s power n plus 1, real part of s greater than 0. Minus t power n u of minus t, n factorial divided by s power n plus 1. Here the real part of s is less than 0. E power minus at u of t, 1 divided by s plus a, real part of s greater than minus a. Minus e power minus at u of minus t, 1 divided by s plus a, real part of s less than minus a. So this is what I was talking of there. Two signals may have same transformation, two different signal ending with the same transformations, but their region of convergence is going to differ. So you can see here the region of convergence for e power minus at u of t is real part of s greater than minus a, whereas for minus e power minus at u of minus t is real part of s less than minus a. Similarly, t power n e power minus at u of t is n factorial divided by s plus a whole power n plus 1, real part of s greater than minus a. And for minus t power n e power minus at u of minus t, it is n factorial divided by s plus a whole power n plus 1, real part of s less than minus a. Cos omega naught t u of t, s divided by s square plus omega naught square, real part of s greater than 0. sin omega naught t u of t, omega naught divided by s square plus omega naught square, real part of s greater than 0. E power minus at cos omega naught t u of t, it is s plus a divided by s plus a the whole square plus omega naught square. Similarly, for e power minus at sin omega naught t u of t. So very simple. When you take e power minus at or when you add e power minus at to this, just replace s with s plus a. You will get it. Now we will look into the transformations one by one, how the transformations are occurring, what are the properties, we will see one by one. So the first one is linearity property. Linearity property is very important in terms of superposition principle. We do follow the superposition principle for this. The formula is given by a1 x1 of t plus a2 x2 of t. The Laplace transformation is going to be a1 x1 of s plus a2 x2 of s. Whereas x1 of t, the Laplace transform is x1 of s, and similarly x2 of t Laplace transform is x2 of s. So what I will do is I will try to solve one or two properties and show you. Then remaining we will you can take it up by your own. So what the given thing is, x of s is our formula for Laplace transform. X of s is equal to integral minus infinity to minus infinity to plus infinity x of t e to the power minus st dt, e to the power minus st dt. Now what we have to do is, instead of x of t we have to substitute this. So when I do substitute it, what I will get is integral, as of now I am keeping it minus infinity to plus infinity, minus infinity to plus infinity. Here I will be having my term. So this entire term I am going to put it here. I will have this multiplied with e to the power minus st, e to the power minus st dt. So this is one step that we have to know. Now what we can also do it. Now I can expand split the integration. Since I have this possible, what I can do here is I can split this integration into two terms. The first term I can keep it as a1 x1 of t into e to the power minus st dt, e to the power minus st dt. So this will be the first term, plus the second term will be the same integration, a2 x2 of t e to the power minus st dt, e to the power minus st dt. Now by the looking into the formula itself, we can say it as a, this is x1 of s formula, and this is going to be x2 of s. Sorry, my mouse is not working properly. X2 of s formula. So what we can do is, the same thing can be applicable over here, a1 into x1 of s, a2 into x2 of s. Similarly, we can go for time domain shifting. If x of t Laplace transform is x of s, then x of t minus t naught is e to the power minus st naught into x of s. I will try to solve this and show you. Again formula, integral minus infinity to plus infinity x of t e to the power minus st dt, e to the power minus st dt. Now I am going to substitute. Instead of x of t, I am assuming it as x of t minus t naught, integral minus infinity to plus infinity x of t minus t naught, x of t minus t naught e to the power minus st dt. Now what I am going to do is, let me take some dummy parameters. Let me assume m to be equal to t minus t naught. M is equal to t minus t naught. So from this I can write m plus t naught to be equal to t. So differentiating on both sides, I will get dm to be equal to dt. dm is equal to dt. And the limit if you substitute upper limit to infinity, you will get infinity. Lower limit infinity here, again you will get infinity, minus infinity. So limit can be renamed with minus infinity to plus infinity. Instead of t minus t naught, I am going to have it as x of m e to the power minus es. Instead of t, I am going to substitute as m plus t naught. m plus t naught. Now what I do is I am splitting this integration. I will have e to the power minus s m first term dm, and the second term I will have e to the power minus s t naught. So this you can take it as a constant outside, and the remaining term is going to be x of s. So x of s into e to the power minus s t naught. So this is here. Similarly, if it is going to be x of t plus t naught, I will have it as e power plus s t naught. This is time domain shifting. This property is called as time domain shifting property. Similarly, Laplace domain e power s t naught into x of t is x of s minus s naught, where my real part of s naught r plus real part of s naught. Similarly, time domain scaling. If x of t Laplace transform is x of s, then x of a t Laplace transform is 1 over modulus of a x of s by a, with ROC R1 is equal to AR. And this is known as time domain Laplace transform scaling property. Conjugation property. If x of t Laplace transform is x of s, then ROC x star of t Laplace transform is x star of s star with ROC R. This is known as conjugation property of Laplace transform. Time domain convolution. If x1 of t Laplace transform is x1 of s with ROC R1, and x2 of t Laplace transform is x2 of s with ROC R2, then x1 of t convoluted with x2 of t Laplace transform is x1 of s into x2 of s. As we discussed earlier, time domain convolution, in other domain it will be multiplication, whereas time domain multiplication in another domain it is going to be convolution. This thing you have to keep in your mind every time. Convolution plays a vital role. As we said earlier, convolution is going to be a 4-step process: folding, shifting, multiplying, adding. So these 4 steps are involved in convolution. In time domain, it is very simple. Whenever we take in time domain, if it is going to be in multiplication, in another domain it is going to be convolution. In time domain convolution, in another domain it is going to be multiplication. Reverse way is always possible. Time domain differentiation. If Laplace transform of x of t is x of s, then d by dt of x of t Laplace transform is x into x of s. If x of t Laplace transform is x of s, minus t into x of t Laplace transform is d by ds of x of s. Laplace domain differentiation, frequency domain differentiation. If x of t Laplace transform is x of s with ROC R, then integral minus infinity to t x of tau d tau Laplace transform is 1 over s x of s with ROC containing R intersection real part of s greater than 0. The ROC always contains at least the R intersection real part of s greater than 0, but can be larger if the poles and 0 cancellation occurs. Initial value theorem. If x of t is equal to 0 for all t less than 0, and x of t contains no impulse or higher order singularities, then x of 0 plus is equal to limit s tends to infinity s into x of s, where x of 0 plus is denotes the limit of x of t as t approaches zeros from positive values, and this result is known as initial value theorem. Similarly, final value theorem. If x of t is equal to 0 for all t less than 0, and x of t has a finite limit t tends to infinity, then limit t tends to infinity x of t is equal to limit s tends to 0 x into x of s. So this is very important that we have to know initial value theorem and final value theorem. We do have some gate problems asked for this initial value theorem and final value theorem. So let me explain you a few examples how to solve Laplace transform. Then we can move on to solving the problems with respect to gate. Now for the given question, they are given f of t is equal to e to the power minus at u of t for a greater than 0. We have to find the value of Laplace transform for the given function. The formula for Laplace transform is given by integral minus infinity to plus infinity if it is bilateral. Here we are discussing with unilateral, so the formula changes to 0 to infinity f of t e to the power minus st dt. I have to substitute e power minus at u of t here. When I do substitute here, e power minus at e power minus st dt I will get. Now e power a into e power b can be combined as e power a plus b. I will take e power minus t outside. I will have e power minus t into a plus s. Integration of e power at is e power at divided by a. So with respect to that, I will have e power minus t a plus s divided by s plus a. Upper limit infinity e power minus infinity is 0. Lower limit e power 0 is 1. So I will have 1 divided by s plus a, where the ROC is real part of s plus a greater than 0. And from this I can come to conclusion real part of s is greater than minus a. Now I will tell you one thing where the major difference between the Fourier transform and Laplace transform occurs. If we are not considering this particular region of convergence here, if I do substitute the value of upper limit and lower limit and if it becomes infinite, Fourier transform fails in that particular case. So to avoid that only we go for Laplace transform. So when this is possible, when this value of substitution is possible, say example, I will give you an example. Now as I said earlier, the integration value here is e power minus t is taken outside s plus a, e power minus t into s plus a divided by s plus a, where the limit is as per the thing it is 0 to infinity. So you can substitute infinity here, it becomes e power minus infinity is 0. You can put this 0 here, e power 0 is 1. This is possible when my s plus a value is going to be positive. If my s plus a value is going to be negative, what happens? If my s plus a value is negative, this minus into minus will become plus. So at that instant, if you substitute infinity, we will end up with e power infinity as infinity. So the transformation will not exist. To overcome the case which occurred in Fourier transform, we do have here in Laplace transform as region of convergence, and that plays a vital role here. So real part of s plus a should be greater than 0 and real part of s is greater than minus a. Next we will see the next problem. F of t is equal to e power at for a greater than 0. Same, since a greater than 0, it means it is unilateral. I can go for 0 to infinity f of t e power minus st dt. I am substituting e power at here. I will have e power a into e power b. You can write it as e power t. I am taking it outside. E power t is taken outside. I will have minus s plus a, and the lower limit substitution 0 e power 0 will become 1. Upper limit e power minus infinity I will have e power minus infinity will become 0. So I will have 1 divided by minus s plus a, whereas the ROC here is real part of s minus a should be greater than 0. The next question, Fourier transform of del of t minus t naught. Substitute it here. This exists only at t is equal to t naught. So I will put instead of t naught I will have e power minus s t naught. This will be the answer. Similarly u of t again 0 to infinity e power minus st I will have e power minus st divided by minus s, upper limit 0, lower limit infinity. I will have 1 by s for real part of s greater than 0. Bilateral transformation. F of t is equal to e power at u of minus t. Formula minus infinity to plus infinity f of t e power minus st dt. U of minus t in the sense it is going to vary from minus infinity to 0. minus infinity to 0. The value is e power at. I am substituting here. Combine both. You can take e power t outside, minus s plus a I will have divided by minus s plus a when I do integration. So upper limit e power 0 becomes 1. Lower limit e power minus infinity becomes 0. So that part gets cancelled. So I will have minus of 1 divided by s minus a. So when this is possible is when my minus of s plus a value is going to be positive. When it is going to be negative, it becomes again a problem. So I will have the answer to be 1 minus of 1 divided by s minus a for real part of s less than a. Similarly, f of t minus of e power minus a t u of minus t. So again we will have the same procedure to be followed. 1 by s plus a and the real part of s is less than minus a. So very simple. The same procedure can be followed for all the cases for solving the unilateral and bilateral problems. The same steps should be continued for solving the problems of Laplace transform, and we do have several problems in GATE associated with the Laplace transform. Now we will see the GATE problems. First question, two systems with impulse response h1 of t and h2 of t are connected in cascade. Then the overall impulse response of the system is given by, they have asked. So first for this you have to know two cases. One, when the systems are connected in cascade, and case number 2, when the systems are connected in parallel. What happens? So we do have two systems. If the two systems are connected in parallel, what will be the overall response? If two systems are connected in cascade, what will be the response? So when two systems are connected in cascade, it is going to be h1 of t convoluted with h2 of t. So this will be the overall response of the systems that are connected in cascade. So the answer for this question will be option C. Similarly, when the systems are connected in parallel, we will have, let I assume this to be h1 of t, and let me assume this to be h2 of t. So for this case, it is going to be addition h1 of t, overall impulse response h1 of t plus h2 of t plus h2 of t. So answer for when the systems are going to be in series, then this will be the answer. We'll move to the next question. The impulse response of a system h of t is equal to t into u of t. For an input u of t minus 1, the output is. So for the given question is, they have given h of t is equal to t into u of t as the response to the system. And now the question asked is, what will be the output when my input is going to be u of t minus 1? So we should know first what is input. So let me assume this as x of t. They have as given x of t is equal to this. And what will be x of s? We know that the formula x of s for u of t minus 1 is generally 1 by s is for u of t, and by using the shifting property we can have it as e power minus s t naught divided by s. T naught value, since t naught value is 1, I will have e power minus s by s. So x of s is e power minus s divided by s. Now as given in the question, h of t is going to be t into u of t, u of t. So from this I have to calculate what is h of s. We know that t into u of t, which is going to be 1 divided by s square. 1 divided by s square. So you know x of s, you know h of s. We know the formula for y of s. Y of s is in general given by x of s multiplied with h of s. So I have got e power minus s by s into 1 by s square. So I will be having e to the power minus s divided by s into s square is s cube. Now what is asked is the output. So output, in the sense, I have to go for finding the inverse of this particular case. 1 by s cube. For 1 by s square, it is t. So 1 by s square cube, as by the formula, it is going to be t square divided by 2. T square divided by 2. And e power minus s, as I said from the previous case, it is u of t minus 1. Wherever t is there, replace it with t minus 1. So I will have t minus 1 the whole square. T minus 1 the whole square divided by 2 u of t minus 1. So the answer for this particular question is option C. So only thing we have to remember for this kind of problem is you have to know the basic relationship that I have given in the previous slides. So if you know this concept, very simple, you can solve any given kind of problems. Next, which one of the following statement is not true for the continuous time causal and stable LTI systems? So for this, what options they have given? All the poles of the system must lie on the left side of the j omega axis. Okay. Zeros of the system can lie anywhere in the S plane. All the poles must lie within the mod S is equal to 1. All the roots of the characteristic equation must be located in the left side of the j omega axis. So for this kind of problem, you should remember the properties of ROC, which I have said in the previous slides. So for a system to be causal, we should know this properties all, then only it is possible for you to solve. For a system to be causal, the ROC of a system transfer function h of s, which is a rational, should be in the right half of the plane and right of the rightmost plane. So that is given to us. So one option is given. Second, for the stability LTI system, all the poles of the system should lie in the left half of the S plane, and no repeated pole should be on the imaginary axis. So by these two statements, we can come to the conclusions that option number A, option number B, and option number D are satisfying for the LTI system, linear time invariant system. But whereas for the case of option C, so it is not sure when the system is going to be stable system, because modulus of S is equal to 1, in the sense we have one pole which is going to lie in the right hand side of the S plane also. So option C is not going to be the correct. So not true is option C. So you have to remember the properties. When you do remember the properties, it is easy for us to solve this kind of problem. We will move on to the next question. Assuming zero initial condition, the response y of t of the system is given below to a unit step input is u of s 1 by s y of s. This is what they have asked. So from this, we should know that from the given question, unit step input u of t is, this is what they have asked. So u of s is 1 by s. We know this because from the given question it is u of t. Already the transfer function is 1 by s. So what will be the output? Output is going to be your input x of s multiplied with your transfer function h of s. So I will be having 1 by s into 1 by s is going to be 1 divided by s square. So that is done. Now what is asked to us? They have asked what is y of t response. 1 by s square. What is the inverse? So it is going to be t into u of t. So which option is having this? T into u of t. So option B. Very simple, but only thing is we have to understand the question. Then it is easy for us to solve this kind of problems. The next question is, the impulse response of a continuous time system is given by h of t is equal to del of t minus 1 plus del of t minus 3. The value of step response at t is equal to 2 is what? So they have given your input is going to be step response, and they are asking you at the value at t is equal to 2 is what they have asked. So from this, I can come to a conclusion from the question. X of t is u of t. That is sure for me. H of t also they have given. Now what I have to do is I have to calculate what is y of t at t is equal to 2. So if you can get the data given from the question properly, your work is half done. Now very simple, h of t, x of t, either you can go by two methods. What is y of t concept? Y of t is convolution. Y of t is x of t convoluted with h of t. X of t convoluted with h of t. Very simple. So x of t is given u of t and h of t is del of t minus 1 plus del of t minus 3. So when I do convolute u of t with this impulse signal, we know that any signal that is convoluted with impulse will yield the same. So I will have u of t minus 1 plus u of t minus 3. So this will be the output of my convolution. Now what is asked for me? At t is equal to 2 is asked. When t is equal to 2, I am just going to substitute here. I will be getting y of 2. Y of 2 will be equal to u of t minus 1. So 2 minus 1 is 1. U of 1 plus u of minus 1. So what will be the value of this? So we all know what is unit step signal. Unit step signal, here it is 0, 1, the entire places, all the value is going to be 1. So u of 1 value is 1. U of minus 1 value 0. So 1 plus 0 is going to be 1. So the answer is going to be B. For the same question, if they asked you to compute at 3, if they have asked you to compute at 3, what happens? 3 minus 1, here you will have 2, here you will have 3 minus 3, 0. So again, here the amplitude is, 1, here the amplitude is 1. So I will have 1 plus 1, 2. So this is how you have to find for certain problems. Only thing, you have to extract from the data from the question, then it is easy. We will move on to the next question. A system described by the differential equation d square y by dt square plus 5 dy by dt plus 6y of t is equal to x of t. Let x of t be a rectangular pulse given by x of t is equal to 1 for 0 less than t less than 2. 0 otherwise. Assuming initial condition y of 0 is equal to 0, dy of t by dt is equal to 0 or t equal to 0. It means that initial condition is 0. Find the Laplace transform of y of t. So they have given x of t and we are going to substitute instead of here x of t, I am going to substitute here. Then I have to find the transformation. Then finally again I have to find what is y of t. So very simple. Just apply the transformation to this. When we apply transformation to that, what I will get? S square y of s for the above differential equation. There is, since initial conditions are 0, directly I am substituting. S square y of s plus 5s y of s plus 6 times y of s is equal to x of s I will be getting. Now I can, the right hand side I can take y of s outside. When I take y of s outside throughout the equation, I will get s square plus 5 times s plus 6 is equal to x of s. So what is my x of s? I should get from this particular equation. What they said, x of s is going to lie between 0 to 2. So it means that a continuous signal, it is 1 for 0 to 2. So you have to find, either you have to find the equation for this with respect to step function or with respect to direct input you want to find, you can find. So easily to say you, it is a unit step signal and you want this particular signal, the unit step signal is going to be lying from 0 to infinity it goes. But I want it to cut till 2, what happens? So remaining the same signal should be shifted version of this, then this both will get cancelled. I will end up with this. So u of t minus u of t minus 2 will give me that answer. So if I take the response of this u of t. In general, u of t, the transformation is 1 over s. For u of t minus 1, already we said that it is going to be e power minus s t naught. T naught value here is 2. So e power minus s t naught divided by s. So I can take s as common. I will have e power 1 minus e power minus 2s divided by s. So this is going to be acting as my x of s now. So I have this term here. What is my transfer? What is my y of s now? My y of s is going to be, I'll just substitute that in this equation, e power minus 2s, அதாவது 1 minus e power minus 2s divided by s into 1 divided by this function. So here all it is there in terms of factorial. So I can go for factorial of 6. When it should be added, I should end up with 5. So 3 2s are 6. S plus 3 into s plus 2 is going to be the root. So s into s plus 3, s plus 2. So which is the option that I have all this case. 1 minus e power minus 2. Yes, okay, both the options are there. So these two options are ruled out. 1 minus e to the power minus 2s, s into s plus 2, s plus 3. So the option is going to be option B. So it may take time, but this kind of problems are very important and very simple to solve. So please try to practice this kind of problems. We will move to the next problem. The unilateral Laplace transform of f of t is 1 divided by s square plus s plus 1. The unilateral transform of t into f of t is what? So very simple. What they have asked is t into f of t. T into f of t, whenever they ask this kind of thing, it should come into your mind. We are going for S domain differentiation property. So S domain differentiation property, what my property says, if my f of t is my signal and the Laplace transform of this f of t is f of s, or y of t is my signal, Laplace transform of y of t is y of s, then I can come to a conclusion that t into f of t will be minus differentiation with respect to frequency domain d by ds of f of s. So here what they have given here is they have given me with f of s. I have to differentiate this with respect to s and I should add minus. So when it is going to be u by v formula, u by v. What is u by v? Differentiation v du minus u dv divided by v square. V du minus u dv divided by v square. I have got u, I have got v, just substitute it. When I do substitute it, I will get the differentiation. First v value is this. Differentiate this, 2s plus 1 I will get. So the top I will have 2s plus 1 for this case. Next case, u is 1 dv, v du, u dv. So that is when it is going to become constant only. Divided by v square. So the entire term, s square plus s plus 1 the whole square. So 2s plus 1 divided by s square plus s plus 1 the whole square. So this is one thing. Now just check, I will just check one second. V is s square plus, I will just write it again, s square plus s plus 1 v du. When I do du, it is 1. So integration, that becomes differentiation, this is 0. I will have a minus symbol because v du minus u dv. What is u? U is 1. Differentiation of that is 2s plus 1. Please don't mind this. It is some technical issue. 2s plus 1. So here you will have one more minus. Minus into minus will become plus. So I will have 2s plus 1 divided by this term. So I wanted to explain it to you in the stepwise. So that's why I came here. So which is the option that I have this? So option D is having this. Answer is this. Shall we move to the next problem? Okay. If the unit step response of a network is 1 minus e power minus alpha t, then its unit impulse response is what? So what is asked, what is given? If you can extract this both from a question, then the problem looks very simple. Unit step response is given. They have asked you impulse response. What is the relationship between the step response and impulse response? Differentiation of step will give you impulse. Basic fundamentals. Differentiation of step will give you impulse. So just blindly differentiate this thing. Where differentiation of constant is 0, differentiation of this will yield me in front I will have a minus. This comes to the front, minus alpha e to the power minus alpha t. Minus into minus will become plus alpha e to the power minus alpha t. Which option is having? The option A is the correct answer. So very simple problem, but this is asked in the GATE. We will move to the next question. An input x of t is equal to exponential minus 2. I will read it as e power minus 2t u of t plus del of t minus 6 is applied to an LTI system with impulse response h of t is equal to t into u of t. What is the output? Again, very simple. This kind of problem you can able to solve it in this way. Y of t is going to be convolution of x of t into h of t. Very simple. Directly put convolution and find it. Or you can go with another methodology. First find what is x of s, then find what is h of s, then multiply both, you will get y of s. After finding y of s, you take inverse for this, you will get y of t. Two-step process, whichever is easier, you can go by that. Now let me go with this method itself, second method, because direct substitution you can find. E power minus 2t u of t. If I do for this, I will have 1 divided by s plus 2. So this is done for me. Since I have it handy, I can get it easily. Similarly, del of t minus 6. Del of t I will have 1, but since it is with respect to shifted version, I will have e power minus st naught. So that is going to be e power minus 6. So this is done. With respect to that, 6s I will have. What is that e power minus 6s I will be having? What is that other thing? U of t. U of t very simple. You know, everyone knows that it is going to be 1 by s. So now you have to multiply both. When I multiply both, you can have it as a separate terms itself. 1 divided by s into s plus 2. So this is going to be the first term. Second term plus e power minus 6s divided by whole divided by s. So two step having, just try to take LCM partial fraction, apply partial fraction. You have got s into s is s square, two terms are there. So I will have a divided by s square plus b divided by s plus c divided by s plus 2. You can either go by this methodology after taking LCM for all these things, or what you can do, even make it more simple, try to solve this and then try to find it. It takes time. So can someone find it and give me the answer? I'll wait for a couple of minutes. You can post it in the chat box. What will be the option? Yes, very good, Trishal. The answer is B. 0.5, 1 minus e power minus 2t u of t plus u of t minus 6. Very simple answer. Okay, we'll move to the next. Given that f of t is L inverse of 3s plus 1 divided by s cube plus 4s square plus k minus 3 into s. If limit t tends to infinity, f of t is equal to 1. Then find the value of k is what? Now, when this kind of questions are asked, limit t tends to infinity, f of t, the next moment you should have in your mind, it is problem that are related with initial value theorem and final value theorem. Now, t tends to infinity, f of t, it is going to be a final value theorem problem. Upper limit t tends to infinity, f of t, what is the final value? Final value is given by s tends to 0, limit s tends to 0, s into f of s. S tends to 0, s into f of s. Now they have given limit t tends to infinity, f of t is equal to 1. So the right hand side they have already given you this 1. Now here you have to substitute s is equal to 0. When we put s is equal to 0, what I do is let me take here all terminology to make it more simple for me. What I am going to take an s outside. So what I do is s into f of s I should bother. I will have s into 3s, sorry, s into, I have got 3s plus 1, s into 3s plus 1 divided by, in the bottom case I am taking an s outside, so I will have s square plus 4s plus k minus 3 plus k minus 3. Now what happens, this entire value is equal to 1, this ss will get cancelled, you are going to put s is equal to 0. I am going to substitute s is equal to 0. So this term becomes 0, this term 0, this term 0. So I will have 1 divided by k minus 3. 1 divided by k minus 3 is equal to 1. So take this to the right hand side and try to find the value of k. So what happens? K minus 3 is equal to 1. You take that 3 this side. So 3 plus 1 is 4. So the answer is going to be 4. So this kind of problems are very simple, but only thing we have to understand the logic, then it is easier. We will move to the next problem. A continuous LTI system is described by d square y of t by dt square plus 4 dy of t by dt plus 3y of t is equal to 2 times dx of t by dt plus 4 times x of t. Assuming 0 initial conditions, the response of y of t, the same kind of problem. I want you to solve and give me the answer. I will give you the steps alone. First try to take Laplace transform for this. You will have equation with respect to y of s, h of s, x of s. 3 terms you will have. Then try to take substitute this x of s in this equation and then find y of s. This is what is required. So in general I will write it as h of s is given by y of s divided by x of s. Y of s divided by x of s. So you have got y of s from this side and x of s here. When you do it, you will get it x of s. Then you have to substitute this x of s here. Then try to take inverse transform. Then you will have y of t. So you bring this here, multiply, take inverse, you will get the answer. Can someone quickly solve it and say me the answer? Please try to solve it and give me the answer. What will be the answer for that? Yes, the answer is option B, e to the power minus t minus e power minus 3t into u of t. Very good. We will move to the next question. Given that f of s is one-sided Laplace transform of f of t, then integral 0 to t f of tau d tau is what? So we know by property of unilateral Laplace transform, integral 0 to t f of tau d tau, which is given by f of s divided by s plus 1 by s integral minus infinity to 0 f of tau d tau. Since here they have defined 0 to tau is a one-sided Laplace transform, we will have this function to be f of s divided by s. F of s divided by s. So this is the answer. F of s divided by s. Next question. The impulse response h of t of a linear time invariant continuous system is described by h of t is equal to e power alpha t u of t plus e power beta t u of minus t, where u of minus t denotes the unit step function and alpha and beta are real constant. The system is stable when the system is going to be stable. This is what the question is asked. So we know by the concept, when a system is said to be stable, it should be following the bounded input, bounded output concept. Vibov stability it should follow. So for this case to follow, we should have our alpha t to be less than 0. For t greater than 0. For this particular case, our alpha t should be less than 0 for the case t greater than 0. Similarly, beta t will be greater, since it is going to be the negative side, beta t should be greater than 0 for t greater than 0. For both the cases, you have to check. When this is possible, it means that my alpha will be negative. Alpha is going to be negative. So which is having alpha negative? Both the cases are alpha negative. And my beta is going to be a positive value, where the positive value is going to come. Alpha is negative and beta is positive. So option D is having that. So this will be the answer. Moving to the next question. If a Laplace transform of a signal y of s is equal to 1 divided by s into s minus 1, then its final value is. So this kind of questions are peculiar and it is asked repeatedly. So for all these things, you should understand one basic property. For final value theorem to exist, it should have all the poles lies in the left half of the S-plane. All the poles should lie in the left half of the S-plane. Then only this will exist. If it is not existing, then we cannot find the final value theorem at all. Now you take this case, here the question, the given poles are s is equal to 0 and s is equal to 1. So s is equal to 1 pole is going to lie in the right half of the S-plane. So it means that you are not going to apply the final value here. So it is going to be an unbounded. For the same case, if you have s plus 1 here. So at that instant, we will have s is equal to minus 1. Left half of the S-plane we will have. Then we have to solve the problem. So this kind of problems are repeatedly asked. Please note down this statement and keep. For final value theorem is applicable only when all the poles of the system lies in the left half of the S-plane. We will move to the next problem. If a system shown in below x of t is equal to sin t u of t, is in steady state response y of t will be what? So what is given? They have given x of t, they have given x of t is sin t u of t. Okay, very good. H of s they have given 1 by s plus 1. What is y of t? They are asking you. Very same simple concept. X of t, find x of s. What is x of s? Sin t ke 1 divided by s. Sorry, just a second. So you have to find what is x of s first. Then you can go find what is h of s from the given question. They have given a 1 by s plus 1. Then you have to directly apply it and get the answer. Steady state response they have asked y of t. Same thing, you can solve it easily. We will move to the next question. Consider the function f of t having Laplace transform omega naught divided by s square plus omega naught square. Find the final value. So final value is asked. So what is given? F of s kudutanga. So first what we have to find f of t first. From this try to find what is f of t. Omega naught divided by s square plus omega naught square. It is a sine formula. So I will have sine omega naught t. Sine omega naught t is the answer. So sine, where sine is going to vary, sine will be always varying between minus 1 to plus 1. So the answer is, for the final value is going to be minus 1 less than or equal to f of infinity less than or equal to 1. So this will be the answer. Next question. The unit step response of a system starting step response of a system starting from rest is given by c of t is equal to 1 minus e power minus 2t. So again c of t is given. Now the transfer function of the system is asked. Step response in the sense we will be multiplying it with the value. What is u of s value? Then we have to multiply it. We will get. First try to find what is the c of s value. I am going to just apply transformation to this. So when I apply transformation to this, what I will get? 1 minus e power minus 2t. So just to find what is c of s. Then try to substitute the value. I will have C of S divided by U of S. So which is given by direct substitution. I am getting 2 divided by the value S into S plus 2. I will have into the value of X is S. So the SS will get cancelled. So I will have 2 divided by S plus 2. 2 divided by S plus 2 is here. So this will be the answer for this problem. So similarly, unit impulse response of a system is f of t is equal to e power minus t, t greater than or equal to 0. For the system of steady state value is what they have asked. Same thing, follow the same procedure what we have followed for the previous problem. First to find h of t, first to find h of t is e power minus t, h of s will be 1 by s plus 1. X of t they have given us unit step. So x of s will be 1 by s. When we multiply it, 1 by s into 1 by s plus 1. So take a partial fraction 1 by s we will have, and the b value minus 1 by s plus 1. That's standard problem. So I am giving you direct answer. So I will get u of t minus e power minus t. This is what I will get, u of t minus e power minus t. So for a steady state response at t tends to infinity, what happens? I will have y of infinity. So y of infinity, if I substitute, e power minus infinity is going to be 0. So this term is not there. Here u of infinity value is going to be 1. So answer is 1. We will go to the next problem. Consider the Laplace transform of I of t. The Laplace transform of I of t is given by I of s is equal to 2 divided by s into 1 plus s. At t tends to infinity, the value of I of t tends to is what? So we are going to follow the final value theorem here. So for our final value theorem says limit t tends to infinity is equal to limit s tends to 0 s into f of s. So very simple. I am going to substitute s is equal to 0 multiplied by s into f of s. S will get cancelled here. 2 divided by 1 plus 0. We will have answer is to be 2. So this is only possible when I have all the poles to be left off of the S-plane. If the one pole is going to lie in the right of the plane, definitely it is not possible for me to apply it. Next problem. Convolution of x of t plus 5 with impulse function del of t minus 7. Always remember where there is a shortcut which I have gave you in the initial first class itself. X of t minus tau 1 convoluted with h of t minus tau 2. This is the generalized formula that I gave you already, which is equal to y of t minus tau 1 minus tau 2. This you should remember. The same formula is x of t plus y del of t minus 7. So I have got here, substitute here it is 5, here it is 7. What will be the value I will get here? So x of t plus 5 minus 7. It means that 5 minus 7 is minus 2. So I will have x of t minus 2. X of t minus 2. So which option is having? Option C is the correct answer. Next problem. The transfer function of a system is given by h of s is equal to 1 divided by s square into s minus 2. Impulse response. Again very simple. Take the inverse concept. When we take inverse here, I will have t into e power 2t u of t, direct formula. I am not going deep into that. T into t square into e power 2t. Here it is minus 2t. If the option is e power 2t u of t. So next, given that Laplace transform of f of t is s plus 2 divided by s plus 1. Laplace transform of g of t is s square plus 1 divided by s plus 3 into s plus 2. And h of t they have given. Now they are asking you to find the Laplace transform of h of t. Very simple. Convolution, Laplace of convolution is going to be multiplication in another domain. Multiplication in time domain will be convolution in the another domain. Same concept we are going to use. So I am just going to multiply it. That's all. Nothing is required. You multiply both the things, you will get the answer. So when I do multiply it, s square plus 1 and s square plus 1 will get cancelled. This s plus 2 and this s plus 2 will be getting cancelled. 1 divided by s plus 3 is answer. By looking into the question, it may be somewhat tedious, but what is asked, if you have understood, then it is very simple from this given question. We will move to the next question. If f of s is equal to omega divided by s square plus omega square, then the value of limit t tends to infinity f of t is what? So same thing, by using the same concept, final value theorem, limit t tends to infinity f of t is limit s tends to 0 s into f of s. So this is only possible when all the poles should lie in the negative, and here some poles are going to lie in the imaginary axis, since we have got s square plus omega square. If because plus or minus j omega, I will have poles at plus or minus j omega. Plus or minus j omega. So it cannot be determined. So the answer is it cannot be determined. Next question. The unit impulse response of a linear time invariant system is the unit step function u of t for t greater than 0. The response of the system to an excitation e power minus at u of t for a greater than 0 is what? So from this, try to read the question step by step. Unit step function, okay, it means it is going to be u of t. Okay. And they have also given the excitation, which is going to be x of t, which is e power minus at u of t. So we have to find y of t. For finding y of t, they have already given us with x of t and h of t is given. So same procedure, you are not going to change anything. First find what is h of s, then try to calculate what is x of s, multiply x of s and x of s, then take inverse, you will get the answer. So I am leaving this problem as an assignment. Please do it. Next problem, the Laplace transform of e power alpha t cos alpha t is equal to. So very simple. Only thing that you have to remember is for cos alpha t, it is s divided by s square plus a square. Whenever you take e power alpha t inside, you should make it as s tends to s minus a. Just replace it. That will be the answer. So I will have s tends to s minus a. I will have s minus a divided by s minus a square plus alpha square. So option, which is correct answer? Option A. S minus a divided by s minus a the whole square plus a square will be the correct answer. So this kind of problems are repeatedly asked in GATE. Please try to solve this, very important. So references, I have taken a few references from Professor Michael Adams. His presentation was very useful for me to find the theory part, and I have taken few problems from this Paul Cuff and textbook Aparnam, and few GATE problems from the Noida publication, and few concepts from Coursera, ACE Engineering Academy, made easy, Balaji sir's presentation. So thank you for giving me opportunity to learn from all this material. Thank you all. Thank you.